guys, we're going to talk a little bit today about flip tracking in general and what it can do, and also flip tracking versus or in conjunction with the MLS if you're a real estate agent. What we want to try to describe is how this can give some insight and or competitive advantage and or information where it might be otherwise difficult to ascertain. Flip tracking's goal is to assemble and deliver the most comprehensive fix and flip data ever assembled. We feel that this business is going towards a data review and data mining, and then real estate secondarily, where back in the day that probably just was not the step. But as things get more and more technologically advanced and data-driven, we think most people are starting to make decisions and point their money and time and effort once they've done their homework and looked at numbers and things of that nature. We feel that if you can actually study the fix and flip trends, meaning who's buying, what they're buying it for, what they're selling it for, how much they're making, how long it takes, that typically behind that data is a flipper, an expert, a professional, an LLC, somebody with some expertise. Now, we know it's not all the time. There's always some one-offs or rookies, but once you start to study trends and you can see the masses and see who's flipping and what they're making and how they're doing it, you can start to gather and glean some information. And the other thing I want to say is that what we're about to show you is real numbers. It's absolutely real. There's no fluff. This has been scrubbed and verified. And hopefully it shows a little bit off of what flip tracking can do. So let's get started. Here is a real life example of what we're working on. My company, Fair Property Buyers, recently got a lead right here. If you go to my Podio, my CRM, you'll see we got this lead at 1034 North Hunt Drive, Mesa, Arizona 85203. You can see, there's notes and what we're doing and some other information and beds and baths and garage and owner occupied and some numbers, etc. Anyways, we have this in escrow. We put it in escrow. We think we got a good deal, but here's where flip tracking comes into play, or one area one could use flip tracking to start to understand what's going on in 85203. I'm not an 85203 expert. I know it's in Mesa. I know I've done some business there years ago. But one of the questions I would ask, and I think most people would ask this question, one of them, is, well, what kind of flipping activity is happening in Mesa? What are people doing in 85203 right now? You see, if you live in the Phoenix or Scottsdale area like I do, it might not be that difficult to understand what's happening in 85203 if it's just a few miles away from your house like it is with me. But what if you got a lead in Denver? What if you got a lead in Austin? What if you got a lead in Yuma or Tucson? What if you got a lead in Dallas or Albuquerque? Now what are you going to do? Right? And obviously, it's not impossible, but that does create a substantial layer of complexity to be able to underwrite and understand deals in different geographies. So right now, what we're just going to do is stay in our little backyard. It's in the Phoenix, greater Phoenix, so 85203 is in our backyard. So let's take a look. So my question is well, what's going on in 85203? Let's go over to flip tracking, actually, and let me log out so I can just show this to you real quick. So you go to FlipTracking.com. You can scroll down to log in, and once you get your username and login, you can of course put that in, and it's quick. And there we are. I'm already in. So that's how long it takes you to get there. I want you to go to Tracker, and here's how Tracker works. This is exactly what you think it is. It is tracking flips. That's why it's called the Tracker. So go over here to closed flips. Notice, wholesale tab, we're not going to look at wholesale deals right now. Later we can, but not right now. So go over to the closed flips and make sure this checkbox is checked. This basically turns on the conditioned and vetted and qualified data stream that we've aggregated. Then I want you to go right here to click this on as well. Click that checkbox on. I want you to go ahead and put 85203. Oops, 203. Obviously, it's on zip code, so that's good. And then the only other filter I want you to put on is this date range. So click date range on. You'll notice these cells go gray, and if you click in here, you can't do anything. But if you do the checkbox, it becomes white, transparent, and you can. So let's just do a year-to-date search. Let's go January 1st of this year till today. So that's a year-to-date search. And let's click search, and you'll notice there's 7 results. So here's what this says. the number of flips that have occurred in 85203 in 2016 year-to-date, answer 7. Okay? Let's take a look. So it's more than 5 on a page, so let's go to 10 just so we can see them all. And let's start taking a look. So you notice, here we are on Bates. Somebody bought a property for $140,251, sold it for $157,500, 48 days later. This first column is obviously close of escrow 1. This second column is close of escrow number 2. By the way, FlipTracking does track close of escrows 3, 4, 5, and 6 in a multiple wholesale fix and flip double escrow assignment situation, of which there are those out there. But right now we're keeping it simple. Close of escrow 1, close of escrow 2, and then this orange column is what I call the delta column. Delta just means the difference of. So the gross profit, or the delta of profit, is about $17,249. The delta in days is 48 days. Right here you'll see it says flip cycle. Right here, if you notice, you can actually search by flip cycle too. If you wanted to say, show me all the flips that occurred between 30 and 90 days from close of escrow 1 to close of escrow 2, you could do that. Or less than a year, more than a year. You can slice it and dice it as you see fit. But right now we didn't put that filter on. We're just looking at year-to-date flips. So it looks like somebody generated about $17K of gross profit in about 48 days. So let's take a look at that. What we're going to do is let's go to MLS and let's actually take a look at this. So let's go map search, and this is usually how I do my MLS search. We'll go right here. What is it? 637. Is that what it is? Let's see here. 637. Yep, street. All right. And we'll put in 85203. We'll hit locate. It'll put a pin. MLS is good about that. And we'll zoom in. And so let's do this. So let's ask MLS the question right here. Here's the subject property. Let's ask it the same question. Let's say, show me all the closed comps, if you will. I'm sorry, not comps. The closed transactions. And let's go close of escrow. Let's go year to date. Let's make it apple for apple. So January 1st, 2016 to present, all the closed flips, and lo and behold, look at there. Oh, is it still 0? I hope it's still 0. Yep, it's still 0. So think about what just happened. If we go over to FlipTracking, it says that there's a close of escrow for 140 something, another close of escrow for 157 something, and somebody is generating money in some period of time. But when we go to MLS, so my MLS is maybe having an issue real quick. Let's try this again. Let's just go right back to that same little location. I may have pressed an incorrect back button or something like that. So over here, there we go, 85203, locate, and let's go status, let's go close, let's go apples to apples, back to 1-1, and now let's see what we find. So we gotta put the geofence around it. There we go. That should work. Okay, now you see it says 0. So view results is 0. So real quick, FlipTracking says there's 2 close of escrows right here, and somebody's making money in some amount of days, but MLS is saying there's 0. So what's going on? This right here is the very first place that FlipTracking can and will and does delineate itself from MLS. First of all, to have MLS, you've got to be a realtor. Not the case with FlipTracking. But secondarily, is MLS misses information, vital information. Here I am taking a look at a deal in 85203, trying to discern if this is a good place to flip or a bad place to flip. And this is my first question, which is, well, show me all the other flips in the area so that I can study them and see what experts are doing, see what professionals are doing, not just comps, but flipping trends. And right now, the MLS wants to say, well, this doesn't exist. It's a data point that doesn't exist. So I made a little chart here just to, and this might be too much information too quick, but if you notice, here's our Bates property, and if you notice MLS, the A to B leg, what we call the A to B leg or the acquisition leg, it doesn't have it. The B to C leg, what we call the divestment leg or the B to C leg, the selling leg, the flipping leg, it doesn't have it. But if you go over to FlipTracking.com, it says the A to B leg was about 140 and change, and the B to C leg was about 157.5, 2 data points. So clearly FlipTracking is telling you 2 pieces of information, and it's more than that, but 2 pieces of information that are critically important. If you think about this, what MLS is showing has happened is it's showing nothing. Right now, MLS is arguing, well, nothing has happened. There is no sale, there is no flip. But what FlipTracking is saying is, well, it's clearly a wholesale flip. Anytime I see $17,000 of gross margin inside 48 days, that sounds like a wholesaler to me. Now, who knows what really is going on, but it's what it sounds like to me. So don't you find that odd? It's just one of those things that if I'm trying to study this neighborhood, where am I going to go, and how am I going to study this data and try to understand what's really going on? So with that being said, I just wanted to say that this is a quick little snippet to demonstrate how FlipTracking can delineate itself from MLS. It can show you data that MLS does not. It can actually show you where flips are happening, where MLS cannot. So that being said, I really appreciate it. Have a good one.